So I'm gonna level with you guys. I didn't write an intro for this video because I wanted to get it out as soon as possible. Besides, you don't need me to tell you that Sonic Mania is a fantastic game. You already know that. You probably already bought the thing if you're watching this video. So I figured let's get to the part that people are here for, the development story. So let's get the video rolling, guys. Let's learn how a group of hackers and modders made one of the best official Sonic games in who knows how long, while we discuss the development of Sonic Mania. To start, let's begin in 2015, 2 years before the release of Sonic Mania. At that time, Sonic Team went on record saying that they wanted to create a 2D Sonic game again. But just not any 2D Sonic game. They wanted to make an entirely new one, not just a remake of an old game. And that's really all they said. No plans, no ideas, nothing was shared. We really didn't know much about this whole project, if it even was a project, and technically, we don't even know if this became Sonic Mania or not. What we do know though is that in 2016, Christian Whitehead, eventual programmer on the Sonic Mania project, decided that he wanted to make a new 2D Sonic game, a game entitled Sonic Discovery. In order to achieve his dream, a prototype of the game was created and presented to Takashi Iizuka, longtime producer of the Sonic series and current head of Sonic Team. This prototype demo featured a fully functioning Studiopolis zone, and after seeing the demo, Iizuka fell in love with the project. But there was one thing that Iizuka really wanted to see changed. He wanted to have Sonic Discovery be renamed Sonic Mania, as this game was a passion project created by the fans' undying love for the classic Sonic games. In other words, as he put it, this game was made by the Mania, for the Mania. But how was Christian able to present to Iizuka in the first place? It's not like anyone's able to waltz up to the guy and present a new game idea. Believe me, I've tried. But Christian isn't exactly a new face creeping in the bushes outside the office. He'd been working at Sega already. How he landed that job, though, is an interesting story in itself. Early on, before working for Sega, Christian made Sonic fan games as a longtime member of Sonic Retro, under the username The Taxman. On the site, he was quite a well-known member, with his most popular game being Retro Sonic, a fan game created with the simple-to-use Multimedia Fusion engine, which actually happens to be the same engine used by Freedom Planet and Five Nights at Freddy's. Later, however, he rewrote the game using his own engine programmed in Visual Basic, once again known to be a simple-to-pick-up-and-use language. Moving even further down the road, Christian rewrote the game and its engine again, this time using a way better and way more portable language, good old C++, which he had actually worked in tandem with DirectX. This allowed his game to be played on both the PC and the Dreamcast if you burnt it to a disc. Now, why do I mention all this? Well, eventually it led to the creation of Christian's extremely portable Retro engine, which, unlike most game engines nowadays, is designed to stylistically portray features from systems like the Mega Drive or Genesis, the Sega Saturn, the NES, and so on and so forth. In 2009, he used this engine to run Sonic CD on an iPod Touch, and then recorded it as a proof of concept video that he would later send to Sega in July of the same year. 2 years after that, Christian confirmed that Sega was going to be re-releasing Sonic CD using his game engine, and it was a complete success, which allowed him to go on and create enhanced mobile ports of other Sonic games too, like Sonic 1 and Sonic 2. So let's go back to 2016, when Christian's game proposal was accepted by Sega to become a full game. In order to create this Sonic Mania on its very own retro engine, Christian needed an all-star team to help him out. But this team wasn't exactly full of people you'd expect to see in an official Sonic development team. It was full of hackers, modders, and the like. So allow me to present to you a few members of this team. Simon Stealth Tomley of Headcanon, programmer extraordinaire, was chosen to assist Christian in programming this new game, since he had previously helped him create those enhanced Sonic ports, as well as some Sonic fan games and ROM hacks. Jared Castle and his fellow Pagoda West member Tom Fry, who had both collaborated on a fan HD remake of Sonic 2 in the past. They were now in charge of Mania's level design and visuals. T-Lopes, composer and devoted YouTuber, known for his remixes of classic Sonic tunes. He was hired to compose the music in this new game. These all-star members, along with a few others, formed Sonic Mania's team, all overseen by producer Lola Shiraishi of Sega. Together, they wanted to make the game specifically designed to be a mixture of the Genesis and the Saturn. More specifically, a little better than the Genesis, but not quite as good as the Saturn. This was the guideline the artist went by while creating the game, and wow, does it look good? And pretty much everyone who saw it the first time thought so too. Speaking of which, Sonic Mania was first revealed along with Sonic Forces at the San Diego Comic-Con in July of 2016 for Sonic's 25-year anniversary. This debut trailer showed off a couple of zones in the game over a year before the final release. Because of that long time between reveal and release, you'd think there'd be some differences in the footage. I mean, at least some minor ones. But I couldn't find any changes at all. And I looked for a while. Now, there's always a chance I missed something, so if you want, click the I button here to head to the trailer and do some comparisons yourself. If you find anything, let me know on Twitter, @Beta64Official. I'm always listening. Seriously, it's a problem. Social media addiction is hard. At the end of the trailer though, there's an interesting thing to note. It says that the game was only planned to release for PS4, PC, and Xbox One in spring of 2017. Well, that didn't happen, as we know now. Instead, it was released in August, otherwise known as late summer of 2017. And you should probably notice that there was no Switch version of the game planned at this point. In fact, a Switch version was not even revealed until January 12th of 2017, around 6 months after the debut trailer, when it was announced that Tantalus Media was working on porting the game. Interesting fact, shortly after the announcement of Sonic Mania, the company Renegade Kid, which you probably know for developing Mutant Mudds, offered to port the game onto the 3DS. But something happened to them. Renegade Kid went defunct and split off into two new studios, Atui and Infinitesimo, which basically meant that this offer was off the table and the 3DS version was dead. Probably. Really, no one's confirmed or denied a potential 3DS version since Renegade Kid offered to port it. But as of this video's posting, the state of the port is unknown, if it even started to begin with. Fast forward quite a bit to 5 days before Sonic Mania's release, or August 10th. At that time, Sega gave us an early look at the opening animation of the game, designed to be similar in style to Sonic CD's opening. This beautiful intro in Sonic Mania was directed by Tyson Hesse, an artist from the Sonic comic book series, and the intro song, dubbed Friends, was composed by the group Hyper Potions, known for their fantastic electronic tunes. But here's something you might not know about this early reveal. Turns out this intro, which as I said was revealed August 10th, 5 days before release, was actually meant to be shown 1 day before release, so August 14th. The reason for this earlier reveal was likely because of the various leaks that were appearing on the internet at the time, which basically forced their hands to reveal the intro even earlier than planned. And then, a few days later, on August 15th, 2017, Sonic Mania was released to the world. Unless you were on PC. Now, since this video was uploaded basically at the release of Sonic Mania, no one's found anything unused in the game yet. So instead, I'd like to take this portion of the video and flip it into a different direction. How unused sprites and stages that never made it into earlier Sonic games found their way into Sonic Mania. First things first, Sonic's running animation, which is based off an early version in Sonic 2. See how his legs are like swirling, I guess? That's what it was originally supposed to look like in Sonic 2 before it was replaced with this final animation. And what about that winning animation in Sonic Mania, where Sonic jumps a bit? Turns out that's an early version from Sonic 1 that was never used. Here's a screenshot showing it in action in the first Sonic game, so we can compare it to Sonic Mania. Notice how similar they are. It's hardly a coincidence. Okay, there's a couple of unused areas in the game that were designed after unused and prototype stages in early Sonic games. Like how Mirage Saloon Zone is indirectly based off a scrapped zone from Sonic 2, Dust Hill Zone. What do I mean by indirectly though? Well, it's interesting. This isn't the first time that Christian tried to bring back Dust Hill Zone. The 2011 remake of Sonic CD, which Christian also worked on, had plans to add a new zone called Desert Dazzle, which was inspired by Dust Hill Zone. But ironically, Desert Dazzle was also scrapped in the Sonic CD remake, leaving this western world still unplayable by fans. That didn't stop Christian from trying again though, and his effort paid off. Desert Dazzle finally got into Sonic Mania as Mirage Saloon Zone, as I said before. So technically, Mirage Saloon Zone is based off of Desert Dazzle, which itself is based off the scrapped Sonic 2 zone, Dust Hill Zone. You got all that? Good. Let's continue on. The special stages in Sonic Mania are also references to some older Sonic games, like Sonic 3's Blue Sphere concept or the UFOs from Sonic CD special stages, not to mention it's also based off of Sonic Saturn. What's Sonic Saturn, you may ask? Oh, get ready to be informed, ladies and gentlemen. This is gonna be some cool stuff. Turns out it's a project created by the Sega Technical Institute, or STI, in 1995 and 1996. It was actually created alongside Sonic x-treme, which you may remember me talking about in my video on Sonic Adventure. Cough cough, watch it after this video, cough cough. The prototype of Sonic Saturn was created by the same coder who worked on Sonic 2 special stages, and was meant to have a more realistic 3D engine than what was used in Sonic x-treme. But to his dismay, Yuji Naka, the former head of Sonic Team, didn't like the prototype they created, so it was never made into a full game. STI tried to salvage their engine for use in bonus stages in Sonic x-treme and the Saturn version of Sonic 3D Blast, but both ended up failing. For Sonic x-treme, it's pretty obvious why the entire game was scrapped, but for Sonic 3D Blast, it's a little more interesting. In Sonic Saturn, the team was intending to have a bonus game in it called Sonic Pool, with Sonic basically playing a game of pool. But since Sonic Saturn was scrapped, they planned on putting the bonus game into Sonic 3D Blast and technically Sonic x-treme. But due to a lack of time, they abandoned this idea and instead included a 3D version of Sonic 2 special stages in 3D Blast. It's a shame really. The engine they worked so hard on never ended up being used. So that's the development of Sonic Mania, and technically Sonic Saturn, but who's gonna argue with more information, am I right? You know, people on Twitter, they were saying, Andrew, you're not gonna find anything on Sonic Mania. There's nothing out there, the game just came out. I'll tell you this, I can find just about anything on any game. So if you have a suggestion for an episode that you think, oh, maybe there's not enough info, leave a comment down below. I'll look at it, see what I can find. And you know, it might make a good episode. So before we end this, I want to give a little plug. First off, Son of a Glitch, otherwise known a+start is the channel, good friend of mine, and She Says from Boundary Break, we've all made videos on Sonic Mania. So if you want to learn more about glitches in Sonic Mania, or you want to know some off-camera secrets in Sonic Mania, you can just click links, probably eyes, you know, description, all that jazz. And plus, we all three did a Game Club podcast where we reviewed Sonic Mania from all of our different points of opinion. So check all that out. It's gonna be great. And I guarantee you, you're gonna learn something. You're gonna learn something. So guys, I'm not gonna stay here much longer. So next time you see me, I'm gonna be in a different location. So stay tuned to Beta64 as we continue on this journey known as YouTube.